Oh, hello. I'm really looking forward to jumping in on the next chapters. Next week is the official book launch. Though the book was published in May, I really had this desire to have sort of a party or a celebration that kind of weave together the idea of community building and opening the discussion on resilience and mental health and your inner strength. So, the launch that we're having next Thursday, which is in line with these live readings, is going to be a true celebration. For those of you who can't be live, we're going to have a great sort of capturing of it through video and images, and we'll be sure to share that with you. But you will definitely be there with us in spirit. And I wanted to say, as you're going through these live readings, if you go back to the beginning and you watch them all, or if you're joining me live, I really hope that you grab your book and read along, because this is something that I found really powerful, realizing that we all learn differently, right? Some people learn better from reading, some learn better from listening, from hearing, some learn better from like watching and experiencing. And so if you're ever in a book club or if you're ever with me, something I really enjoy doing is having everybody take a turn reading. And then that way you hear it from different people and it gives you a chance to kind of read along with the person who's speaking. I just feel like it gives you a deeper sense of the message that you're receiving or of the contents that you're learning. I'm going to jump right into this. I want to honor everyone's time. As always, I believe Gia will be joining. Yes, there she is. There she is. Oh, there's Olivia. Olivia's joining as well. Olivia is my oldest daughter, and okay, that's going to make me cry. I can't look at the YouTube stream at the same time because there's a bit of a delay, there's a buffer, and so it throws me off. But after I read the chapter, then I'm going to hop over to see what kind of discussion there is, if any questions come up. And yeah, I just want to begin by saying thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. And yeah, as we go through, as I'm reading, if anything comes up for you, you have any ideas, or it reminds you of an experience you had or a lesson that you've learned, share it with us in the comments. Okay, we want this to be interactive and engaging. And Gia, a member of my team, my right hand woman, she's going to be there to capture everything, make sure that we have everything. If you guys have any questions for me, and she'll be there to kind of stay on top of that. Um, yeah, all right, let's go. Let's dive in. So you're strong enough for this. I'm on chapter 3 called Emotional Strength. Weathering the storms. This is a really, really short chapter, so I might go a little bit into chapter 4. We'll see how the timing goes. There's a reason we use weather metaphors for emotions: stormy, cloudy, calm, a sunny disposition, an emotional tornado. I felt this one as a teenager, definitely, long before we discovered that I had this non-cancerous brain tumor that was messing with my hormones and was actually doing a great deal to make me feel like I was all over the place, and a flood of tears. We instinctively understand that feelings, just like the weather, are constantly shifting, unpredictable, and powerful. Some days are bright and breezy. Others feel like you're bracing against a hurricane. But unlike the weather, we often try to control our emotions. We see them as weaknesses, flaws to be hidden or fixed. We try to deny them, rationalize them, or shame ourselves for having them in the first place. Guys, I gotta just say, I'm having a moment of like pinch me that I'm reading my own book and sharing it publicly. Let me just say this clearly. Emotions are not your enemy. They are messengers. They are indicators. They are a dashboard light of your inner world. And just like you wouldn't slap duct tape over a flashing oil light on your car, you shouldn't ignore your emotions. They're telling you something. Your job isn't to silence them, it's to listen, to learn, and to lead yourself through them. The power of emotional awareness. When my mom had her stroke in March 2020, I entered one of the most turbulent emotional storms of my life, and yet I felt steady within myself. Why? Because I had just finished assembling my oxygen mask. I'd been doing the work. In earlier years, that event would have completely leveled me. But I had built emotional strength through practice by learning to sit with discomfort and regulate my internal world without panicking. That doesn't mean I didn't cry, grieve, or feel overwhelmed. I did. I still do. But I don't fear those feelings anymore. I know they're waves I can ride, not riptides that will drown me. Sitting with discomfort. Most people are taught to run from uncomfortable feelings. We self soothe with food, drink, distraction, or busyness. We try to outrun sadness or numb anger. But the truth is, discomfort won't kill you. It's the resistance to it and the judgment of it that causes more pain. Sitting with discomfort is a skill. It might look like this: acknowledging that you're feeling, acknowledging what you're feeling without judgment. This is sadness. It makes sense that I'm feeling this right now. Or breathing through the intensity instead of trying to stop it. Choosing not to react or fix immediately, but simply being present with what is. Recognizing your triggers. Guys, one of the things that just came up for me with this sitting with discomfort, if you've ever been, like, if you're trying to think of what kind of discomfort I'm talking about, it's when like life has happened and there's no going back. You can't change what's happened or you can't change an outcome. And there's a discomfort of the unpredictable, of not knowing. And it's about being able to sit in that and to know you're okay. You're okay. Okay, you got to take a deep breath, take time. We have this feeling of like like doomsday, or like something bad is about to happen. But truthfully, if we could just sit and be still and acknowledge that we're going to be okay, that is enough in that moment. Okay, recognizing your triggers. Triggers aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're subtle. Someone's tone, a particular date on the calendar, a sudden silence in conversation. But they matter because they activate unresolved pain or fear. Identifying your triggers helps you respond instead of react. It creates space between the stimulus and your response, space that allows for awareness, intention, and choice. Reflect for a moment. What situations, people, or events tend to activate a strong emotional reaction in you? Okay, what provokes you? What situations, people, or events tend to really poke the bear within you? Are there patterns, moments when you consistently shut down or lash out? In our house, we have a couple words or jokes about never saying calm down. That's a big one where I used to see red. Someone said calm down. But there's certain things that somebody could say or do or feel or breathe around you that will just set you off. Be honest with yourself about what those are. Here's a personal example as well. In our community, we use a phrase playfully. It's a playful phrase called until yesterday. So this is to signal habits we're actively replacing or releasing. For me, until yesterday, anytime someone told me to relax or calm down, oh boy, look out. I would instantly interpret it as disrespect. Now I've named this trigger. I can choose a different response, one that's kinder to my nervous system and gives me my power back. Understanding your emotional power patterns doesn't eliminate emotions, it empowers you to navigate them. So, without suppressing, regulating without suppressing. Emotional regulation isn't about bottling things up or pretending you're fine. It's about creating safety within yourself. Some of my favorite regulation strategies include box breathing. So you've heard this before. It's where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. It's really good. Labeling the feelings out loud. I feel anxious right now. Sometimes just saying it out loud can diffuse it. Taking a sensory pause, step outside, drink something cold, smell something grounding, or self soothing statements like, this is hard and I'm allowed to feel what I feel. One of the biggest lies we're sold in is that being emotional means being out of control. The truth, learning how to feel your feelings without being consumed by them is a superpower. And I just want to say, specifically growing up, as someone who really strongly felt their emotions for multiple reasons, um, I was very intuitive and I just felt things. Sadness was really strong, happiness was really strong, just strong, strong feelings. I remember thinking this is a weakness, that I couldn't control that more. I couldn't bring it in. I couldn't be more composed. And I've learned so much since then, not changing myself, but acknowledging those emotions and what they mean to me and why they're happening. Like all of that lessons learned and wisdom has helped it not be a shameful thing, but something that I can work on and use to my own benefit. When strength looks like softness. I've worked with many high achieving individuals who believe being strong means unshakable. But the strongest people I know are often the softest. They can sit with a pain and discomfort. They can comfort others without collapsing or taking on their troubles. They can hold space without needing to fix or flee. That's strength. Emotional strength isn't about having it all together. It's about staying tender and grounded when life gets messy. So when the next storm hits, and it will, you'll know how to find your footing, not because you avoided feeling, but because you learned how to feel well. So here's the reflection prompts that I put at the end of every chapter. The reflection prompts are really for, it's like trying on a new outfit. It's trying on a new perspective. It's just having you think about something that perhaps you hadn't thought to ask yourself, or perhaps it'll give you some insights that'll help you make a plan for your own resilience, for your own ability to handle your emotions. Okay, so these reflection prompts are called the hidden gifts beneath the reaction. Number 1, what emotions do you tend to avoid or dismiss? Why? This is a funny one because I don't know if I should, but I don't feel like I avoid or dismiss any. I like to feel them all and yeah, experience that. I might be wrong. I should think on that a little bit more. What emotions do you tend to avoid or dismiss? Number 2, can you recall a recent situation where your emotions felt overwhelming? How did you respond? The, that's on my tongue. This isn't it sounds light and fluffy. Like I just even feel it saying it out loud. But truthfully, especially when you're going through it, when you're going through one of life's challenging times and you can actually apply these reflections to a specific situation, it's way more powerful. So, like thinking of a recent situation where your emotions felt overwhelming, I can tell you I felt that recently. Um, so I did ask my mother, I got permission to share this, but my mom had unfortunately experienced a second stroke in July, just past July. And we had just passed the 5-year mark of like, if you don't have another stroke within 5 years, usually you're in the clear. And so it caught us off guard. And it's difficult, very challenging. We were able to come together as a family, and she is one of the most determined, resilient people I know. And her recovery, I'm happy to say that she's recovering and that she's doing an incredible job. But through the process of finding out if she was going to be okay and being at the hospital, and then having teenagers and having a spouse and having a business and just having other things in life happen, you know that nothing stops. Doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, dealing with your pets, dealing with your house, dealing with a gazillion different things. I could feel the overwhelm just building up inside of me, but not wanting to acknowledge it because I just felt like I couldn't handle one more thing. I didn't have the capacity. And I thought about how much better I'm getting at dealing with that overwhelm. There's still tears. There's still the odd outburst. I'm sure if you talk to my kids or my husband, you'd hear, I'm not saying I'm a saint, like, ooh, I just handled it with ease. No way, no how. Overwhelm is ugly. It ain't pretty with me. But what I'm learning is that I can talk about it, I can acknowledge it, I can name it, and then I can do something about it, whether that's delegating something or simply just saying, okay, this is the season where I'm going to take other expectations off myself about how I normally handle life. And I'm just going to focus on the really core things that I have to do. So this is where, like, when I'm giving you these reflections, yeah, if you just want to read it over, it sounds like, yeah, when did I react to something? When did my emotions feel overwhelming? Yeah, okay. And then moving on, you're not going to get the benefit. Like, really think about applying this to a specific situation and ask yourself, how did I respond? Okay, number three, how have you regulated your emotions in the past? There's a lot of people I know and that I've worked with where they didn't really regulate their emotions, they avoided them, but it was turning to different substances, even, like, working out to an unhealthy amount to avoid dealing with some things that were going on. Like, we all have different mechanisms, and it's really important that you figure out, "How am I responding?" Because then you can ask, "How can I do it better? How can I respond better for me, for my health, for my nervous system, for my benefit?" Okay, number 4, there's only 5. What's one way you could sit with discomfort more intentionally the next time it arises? And I haven't looked over at YouTube yet, but if there's people watching and you are following along with us, share some of your responses to this, some of your realizations, things you've experienced in the past, things you're proud of that you do better now. Please share with us. Other people could benefit. And then number 5, who models emotional strength in a way you admire, and what can you learn from them? Um, This is a really important one because sometimes if you feel confused or lost or stuck, like, you're just going through a lot of the challenges, a lot of the when life happens, but you feel like you're drowning or you're floundering and you don't know what to do, look for examples. You have them all around you. There are people that impress you. There are people who you think, wow, I really like how they handle things. I really like their sense of humor. I really like the way that they deal with conflict. Whatever it is, think about them intentionally. Who has emotional strength that you know? And learn from them. Why? What makes them an example to you? What parts of them can you mimic, try on, apply, you know, and learn from? There's no rules. We can learn from anyone. Nobody tells you how you have to be, but you can choose. You don't have to just default to I've done it this way, I've reacted this way since I was a little kid. You can do better. You can do better. Okay. So we're at 18 minutes after. We'll look over. Yay, I see some chat going on. Oh, there's my handsome husband, Kyle. Thank you. My daughter. Awesome. Guys, this is so great. Keep putting in some comments, okay? Don't leave Gia on her own. Share with us what's popping up for you, okay? Yeah, and as Gia said, people who engage with us, interact with us, this allows you to win tickets. There's 2 tickets available for the book launch next week. Yes, I love that. Your friends are your real support system. Yeah, yeah, right? The people who've gone through such challenging times, and I'm sure in their life they think everything's falling apart. Meanwhile, we're watching them with awe. Yeah, and how do you want to be looked at? Do you want to be somebody else's example of emotional strength? Okay, because I have about 10 more minutes, I'm going to just start into the next chapter and then I'll see how far it goes because I do want to respect everybody's time and be done around 7:30. Oh, let's see. I tend to ignore my sadness and make it determination to do better. Yeah. Yeah. That's so powerful to acknowledge that. That's really, really powerful. You can decide if that's still what you want to do. This is so great, guys. Keep sharing your incredible thoughts. I'm so proud of your honesty and your strength, and you're helping other people, believe me. Okay, I'm going to just start into chapter 4 a little bit. Physical resilience. Your body is your armor. All of us, I'm pointing my finger at myself right now, have been guilty of ignoring this glorious vessel that allows us to experience life. We take our bodies for granted. Regardless of your capabilities or limitations, most of us have a body that lets us experience the physical world in all its beauty, movement, tastes, scents, emotional, provoking sounds, sights that bring tears to your eyes, and textures that ground you in the present moment. But here's the thing, when we define ourselves by how much we can get done, how much we have, how much we give, who we were in the past, how little we need from others, we lose sight of the things that truly matter, like life or death matter. We push through busy, hectic, and thoughtless days, ignoring signals from our bodies. We power through physical, mental, and emotional pain, convincing ourselves we'll deal with it at some non-specific, perfect time that never arrives. Or worse, we pretend that if we ignore it long enough, it doesn't exist. The price of ignoring my body. This was me for a long time. I wanted to work more hours, accomplish more, and amaze people with my ability to sacrifice everything else to be better than most people. I believed that was my value. It was how I overcompensated for the deep hidden belief that I was average or even below average. Of course, I never acknowledged this out loud, but my body was keeping score. I suffered from chronic neck and back pain. I was gaining weight while barely eating during the day and then binge eating at night. I was emotionally numb because I had made no time for relationships outside of work, except for the people who had a say in my career progression. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, how work can take over everything. After being told I likely wouldn't be able to have children, I convinced myself that my work was my baby, a reflection of my worth as a human. I never stopped to envision a life where I could be both successful and a mother. I would sit at my desk for hours upon hours, perfecting my work, not realizing I hadn't moved, eaten, or even taken a breath of fresh air. The foundation my parents built. Here's the thing, I was raised by parents who valued being active. They were living examples of what it looked like to keep movement in your life at all ages. Both loved sports growing up, and they kept fitness a family priority. Swimming, canoeing, biking, and walking all summer, skiing and hitting the gym in the winter, skating for them, less so for me. They didn't just tell us to play sports, they showed up by taking care of themselves, staying active, and making movement a natural part of their daily life. At different points in my teens and early adulthood, I caught glimpses of how good it felt when I prioritized movement. My confidence increased, my body felt lighter, energized, and joyful. I felt free. It was like my body was grateful every time I moved with intention. The wake up call that changed everything. When I left my corporate career after having my second daughter, I briefly worked as a personal trainer. Not because I wanted a career in fitness, but because I loved how good it felt to be strong and healthy. I wanted to help others experience that same feeling. I learned a ton. I met incredible people, many of whom became lifelong friends, and realized that fitness wasn't my ultimate calling. But I also knew that that experience was necessary for my journey. Fast forward a year or two, one day I was standing in the grocery store aisle, debating between pasta or rice, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor sobbing. I had no idea why. Like literally, if anybody knows me, really knows me, I am a germaphobe. I don't touch anything in public. I really, really watch to make sure I don't touch anything. For me to be laying on the floor of an aisle, just had everything, my hair and I was laying on the ground and I don't remember getting to the ground. I just remember laying on the ground. And through my tears, the only thing I could think of, along with the tears, I was having a hard time breathing, like hyperventilating. What do? You call mom. Call my mom. I could barely get the words out, but I managed to tell her where I was. As people walked around me or avoided the aisle completely, entirely, my mom lovingly but firmly told me to pull myself together and to go straight to my doctor's office. I don't remember if she called the office or if I did, but when I arrived, my doctor, and she gave me permission to put her name in the book, Dr. Braun, who I refer to as an angel, an incredible doctor in Winnipeg. She's a tinier woman, okay? She's got to be at least 4 or 5 inches shorter than me. And she was waiting at the end of the hallway with her arms outstretched, with tissues in hand, just ready to embrace me. People in the waiting room. There was people at the front lobby desk. It was like they all just went away. It was just me and her, and she had her arms outstretched. Like, what a gesture. Not even words, just what a gesture. Whew. She was one of the angels on my journey, absolutely. That moment forced me to stop, reflect, and get brutally honest with myself. I had to stop ignoring the pain and the struggle. The turning point, listening to my body. I realized something that day. I am only as strong and resilient as I intentionally train myself to be. I will not take my body or my health for granted again. From that moment on, I'm committed to honoring, respecting, and listening to my body, getting ahead of anything off before it becomes a crisis, healing not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. As I took better care of my body, I noticed something incredible. My mind and mental health started healing too. I started paying attention to the signs that my body had been screaming at me for years. I learned that many of the health struggles I had throughout my life were actually undiagnosed ADHD symptoms. For years, I'd compared myself to friends. Their focus, organization, grades, and emotional control seemed effortless. I, on the other hand, always felt like I was scattered, unfocused, constantly behind, highly emotional. There's a song called 100 Bad Days. I might talk about it in here. 100 Bad Days makes for good stories. And I always did hold that little belief that even though my life is chaotic, I have the best stories of the craziest, wildest things that happened because I was disorganized, because I was all over the place. I had the best things happen to me, but it wasn't really good for my nervous system. This led to severe anxiety, a binge eating disorder, and waves of deep depression. But here's the game changer. I realized that being healthy and whole is my baseline. I am intelligent, capable, adaptable, and solution focused. If you felt any of those things, you probably are as well, right? We're so hard on ourselves. We're so quick to point out the flaws, the things that we don't do well, the things that we're not as good as other people. But maybe there's reasons behind those things. Maybe there's ways that you could look at yourself differently. Maybe you have strengths that you just need to acknowledge to take advantage of them. I always was, and the symptoms I experienced do not and never should have defined me or my potential. I'm almost finishing up here, guys. I won't go through the whole chapter, but your body is your armor. Treat it like one. This journey taught me something profound. Your body is not an afterthought. It's your foundation, your armor, your powerhouse, your gift. You cannot push it aside and expect it to carry you through life without consequences. The more you respect, nourish, and move your body, the stronger you become, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. And trust me, your future self will thank you for it. So, practical, sustainable self care routines that I actually stick to. I'm not sharing this as some sort of physical health coach, but I've learned the hard way that taking care of my body directly impacts my energy, mood, and overall resilience. I used to push myself too hard, ignore my body's signals, and think self care was something I'd get to later. Spoiler, later never comes unless you make it a priority. So I share a few self-care habits I found that are easy to implement and stick with, even when life gets chaotic, like when my mom experienced a second stroke. Um, just when the busy list of life, right? We're getting back into school and people have like summer's over, we're getting back into work time, work brain. It can get overwhelming when we go from more of a relaxed schedule to a more packed schedule. These are things you could do all the time. Move a little every day. I'm not talking about intense, crazy workouts unless that's your thing. A quick walk or some stretching, even dancing around the house does wonders. Movement equals energy. I use a timer on my phone that literally says move your body, and I have it set to an alarm that's at the time it was a song Girl Like Me by Black Eyed Peas and Shakira. But I remember somebody saying this and it really stuck with me because it was so empowering. When you say, like, I don't have any energy, I have low energy, I don't have any energy, you are energy. It's not some other random source. It's not this invisible tank that's like full or empty. You are energy. So when your energy is low, you can make more of it. To me, that just felt good, more optimistic than it was this invisible tank that I couldn't manage. Second one was hydration is underrated. I used to go hours without drinking water. Now I keep a bottle nearby me, boop, at all times throughout the day. It's the easiest way to boost your energy and clear brain fog. Get outside. Fresh air and sunlight instantly shifts my mood. Even 5 minutes outside resets my energy. Listen to your body. I no longer push through exhaustion or chronic pain or stress like it's a badge of honor. Rest, good food, and deep breaths matter. It might feel awkward at first to take a break before breakdown, but it's a game changer. Sleep is a non negotiable. I used to think I could function off a little sleep. Turns out I was just running on stress and caffeine. Prioritizing sleep changes everything. Making this intentional decision removed the guilt I felt when prioritizing rest. It was a guilt and shame that only I was putting on myself unnecessarily. Okay, guys, I'm finishing the chapter because I'm on the last page. Take small intentional breaks. Even a 2-minute pause to breathe, stretch, or step away from the screen makes a difference. I again use a timer on my phone with an alarm set to a fun song and a message that says something encouraging like go smell the roses. None of these require big lifestyle changes, just small mindful shifts. And honestly, they make me feel stronger, clearer, and more capable to handle life's chaos. I'm in control and choosing the best way to care for myself. Your body is your armor. Treat it well. You'll thank yourself later. Okay, the reflection prompts from afterthought to asset. One, how can you proactively incorporate care for your body daily so that it becomes a built-in habit for when life gets busy or stressful? Two, what helps you feel most energized and clear-headed? Three, when are you most often treating your body like an afterthought? And the last one, four, what's one realistic physical health shift you can make and stay consistent with this week? When I had my goal last year to a year and a half ago, guys, I set it I wanted to release 50 pounds in order to schedule my breast reduction surgery, which I can tell you I successfully achieved both. Boom, boom. And the first thing that I did was towards releasing the 50 pounds was I was going to start drinking more water. So I drank half my body weight in ounces of water. And once I stuck to that for long enough that it was just like what I was doing, that's when I added on the next one of the 10,000 steps a day. But I needed to rebuild that trust with myself. I needed to prove to myself I would follow through, and it made all the difference for following through when the those commitments or habits got bigger and bigger and more different from what I normally do. Okay. Um, hobby back. Just want to look at some of the comments you guys have shared here. Such great shares. Yeah, too much time trying to impress people. I hear that. You have to take care of yourself physically and emotionally. Yeah. Like getting ahead, guys, and doing these things in advance, that's when life gets really difficult. It's like you're already looking out for yourself. You've already done things that take care of you. Oh, thank you. Oh, my dad's here. Thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, mommy and dad. Yeah, my mom is really like her first stroke really kind of was the catalyst for me writing this book because it was the first time I had realized how far I'd come as far as my mental health and mindset, but she's part of the reason for this. All right. Um, or she should, Kate, wasn't it sooner than you expected to? Hmm. I don't know what you're referencing, Gia. I bet probably because I've been talking a lot since you wrote that. Um, anyway, for everybody who's been on, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea what this means. It is a dream come true. I'm grateful for all of you. We're calling the sponsors of our book launch next week our resiliency partners, but I really see everyone who's reading this book, who's sharing, who's talking about this subject, you're our resiliency partners. Let's show other people that prioritizing your mental health, your mindset, your energy, protecting those things and getting ahead of it, creating your own oxygen mask is so critical, right? And hopefully this will help more people with their mental health as we deal with all of the things that come at us in the day. All right, I love you all. If anybody has any questions or if you're watching them after, feel free to leave them in the chat. We're always checking back here. And yeah, you guys are so good for my soul. I hope that you're getting some value out of these stories and out of this book. And I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Yes, I did get my procedure much sooner than I was expecting for my breast reduction. That was part of the goal setting piece that went very well. Thank you for bringing that up, Gia. Feel very proud about that. All right, much love, everybody. Take care. We'll see you soon. Oh, we won't have a reading next week because we'll have the actual book launch, but then we will continue on the Thursday after that until we finish up this yummy book. All right, bye.